After almost 3 years, Nest finally released another doorbell, and this one has a battery and some new features. So it's kind of a big deal. Well, emphasis on big, because this thing is huge. I'll get into where this doorbell cuts corners, and I think you'll be surprised at some of the things I found in my testing. Alright, so let's quickly go over some of the differences between the new Nest doorbell battery and the Nest Hello. Well, actually they're not calling it Nest Hello anymore. It's now called Nest Doorbell Wired. So when you're on the Google Store website, I guess this is just Google saying hi to you? The new battery doorbell actually costs less than the wired version. You can order it in different colors now, and it's obviously much bigger with a battery inside. You do have the option to wire it up, or if you decide to use the battery, you'll have to take it down to recharge. Something I really like about this is if the internet goes down, it can still record up to 1 hour of footage. And this solves one of my biggest complaints with cameras that record to the cloud, since you're not going to miss any footage if your internet is down. They also improved it to rely less on the cloud by processing event detection on the device. So activity zones and detection for people, packages, vehicles, and animals don't use the cloud. That means it's faster and you don't have to pay a monthly fee. You also get 3 hours of free event cloud recording. Now 24 hours would be better than 3, but I guess it's a step in the right direction. Of course, since the new one is less expensive, it does cut some corners. The resolution is less, and it has a more narrow field of view. A lot of people were upset they did not see Matter available for this doorbell. Well, cameras aren't even a supported device type in Matter right now, so it's not even possible. Well, not yet anyways. Here's the biggest difference between the two. There's no 24/7 recording, even when wired. When I found out the Nest doorbell battery did not have 24/7 recording, I was shocked, because I love that feature. But hold on, put down your pitchforks and don't turn off this video just yet, because let's see if it's actually a deal breaker. I spent an afternoon in the hot Arizona sun testing this doorbell to see what it would miss. After a lot of trial and error, I think I figured out how to dial it in. The activity zones are very customizable, so I set up several. That way I'm notified when someone is at my door and not on the sidewalk. But I still wanted it to record any AI detection, even on the street or sidewalk. It turns out you can enable that while keeping the notifications outside the activity zones off. Now that I turn that on in the settings, the doorbell begins recording someone right away, even from the sidewalk. Also in the settings, Nest is pretty generous on how long the event recordings can be. I set mine to the max at 3 minutes, and it covered everything I needed it to. There doesn't seem to be any cooldown between event recordings, so if there's a small break in between events, notifications might not continue showing up, but it's still being recorded. This is a big deal. Wyze has 15-second recordings and a minimum of 5 minutes in between. You miss too much footage in that scenario, and I think Nest has a way better approach. In my testing, it did miss some footage. If it was really dark out, it wouldn't start recording me until I had walked up right next to the doorbell. And this is why 24/7 recording would be nice to have in a scenario like this. But I mainly use my video doorbell during the day when packages are delivered, so I wouldn't consider this a deal breaker for me, especially with security cameras keeping an eye out around my perimeter all the time. So while you can see nothing can replace 24/7 footage, this is still pretty usable. And if you're wondering why Nest skipped the 24/7 on this doorbell, apparently it had to do with thermals and keeping this doorbell from overheating. They would have had to make this doorbell even bigger. So yeah, they skipped it. When it comes to video quality, this won't blow you away because, like I said, it's less expensive. The Nest doorbell battery has a narrower 145-degree field of view compared to the 160-degree on the Nest doorbell wired. I personally prefer the wired doorbell's field of view, but this battery one does show more up and down though. The resolution on the battery doorbell is less than the wired doorbell, but it doesn't look drastically worse. Simply put, video quality isn't bad, but it's not amazing either. It also has HDR like the wired doorbell. The street and sky are well exposed, but it's difficult to see my face. Now it is really bright out here in Arizona, but even at dusk it struggled. Once it was darker, it did a much better job and you can actually see me. These could easily be fixed with software updates, but it is something to be aware of. Two-way voice sounded clear and loud. This is audio from the Nest doorbell battery. There's also quick responses you can select. Another change is that it uses the Google Home app instead of the Nest app for the battery doorbell. It was pretty easy to use, but scrubbing through the timeline wasn't as smooth as the Nest app. Oh, but this is nice. If you're on the free plan, you can still get image preview notifications and it will show up on your Nest Hub displays. Alright, so you might be wondering, where does this Nest doorbell battery fit in? Well, hear me out. It's kind of like the Star Wars prequels. They were made years after the original, so it has more updated technology. But in some ways, the original is definitely better. So who is this doorbell for? Well, if you're looking for a more affordable video doorbell that runs off battery, then this is a really good choice. It's better than the Ring battery doorbell since you get a lot more features for free. You'll also get more accurate notifications and event recordings compared with the Eufy battery doorbell. Eufy does have much better free local storage, so it just depends on what you prefer. That's why I think this Nest doorbell is kind of a big deal, because it might be one of the best battery doorbells out there. If you need to have 24/7 recording, then the Nest Doorbell Wired is a great option. If I had to choose between the two, it's a difficult choice. I lean towards the battery doorbell because I can use all of the features without a monthly fee. It's tough because I really like the 24/7 recording. The thing is, I mainly use the 24/7 recording on the cameras outside my house and not so much my doorbell, but that's just me. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching.
Someone's at the Nest doorbell battery.
I didn't think the Nest doorbell was still installed.
It's not. She's using the internal battery and doorbell ditching us.
Someone's at the Nest
All right,
doorbell
well,
battery.
how do we stop her?
We can't. She's defeated us. Hey, where are you?
Go find